thing on. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is 6:01, and so the work session for mayor and council for April 15th is called to order. Ms. Rainey, roll call, please.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council and Mr. Clark. This is the roll call for the work session, April 15th, 2024. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James,
Present.
Councilmember Anton,
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Akins Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor Butler, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to, we're not going to adopt tonight's agenda because we have an addition. And what are we adding, sir?
Yes, ma'am, Mayor Butler and members of the governing body, the executive offices would like to request remove from tonight's work session agenda, item number 4, council discussion and approval to enter into a contract with Gerard Construction to make exterior repairs to the Rite Aid building in the amount of $28,319. In addition, we would like to also request the addition of a new item for a emergency discussion to select an employee benefits broker.
Say that again, emergency.
An
discussion.
emergency discussion for the selection of our official employee benefits broker.
Program?
Broker.
Official benefits broker.
Thank you.
All right, so with that being said, is there a motion to delete item 4, the council discussion and approval on the Gerard contract, and then add in in its place, item 4, emergency discussion for the selection of our official benefits broker? Is there a motion on those items?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second that.
That was Councilman Antoine. Is there any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Item 1, council discussion and approval of a property and liability brokerage service. Background and history. As part of the executive office's commitment to reviewing any and all contractual services for the city of Forest Park, we have come to the realization that property and liability brokerage services have not been bid out for in over a decade. To address this issue, the staff recently issued a request for qualifications, inviting applications from experienced and professionally licensed brokers to assist the city. However, Sterling and Seacrest, the incumbent broker, did not submit an RFQ. After reviewing all the submissions received, the staff is seeking authorization to immediately confirm Gallagher Risk Management Services as the broker of record. The purpose of this request is to allow sufficient time for Gallagher to properly market their services to ensure that the city of Forest Park obtains the best possible renewal.
Hello, good evening, City Council, Mayor, City Manager, and constituents. There were 5 proponents that bidded on this insurance, property and casualty. And we did do orals, and Gallagher was the top ranked proponent. So everything was done according to the procurement code.
Mayor Butler.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I'd like to follow up with that is staff, we didn't have to do this professional service this way. However, we want the opportunity just to see what was out there in the market. And again, this particular service for the city of Forest Park had not been bid out in over 13 years. The incumbent broker for the city of Forest Park did not submit a bid to this request. So we're seeking council's approval to move forward with Gallagher, who is here with us tonight for a very short presentation, just for the council to ask any questions that they may have.
All right, thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, we appreciate you all considering Gallagher throughout this procurement process. My name is Daniel Duhart. I am one of the brokers that would service the account for the city of Forest Park. There's 2 other brokers on our team, Matt Simmons and Scott Thomason as well. Unfortunately, those gentlemen could not be here tonight due to some prior commitments with a couple of our clients. But I did get an opportunity to talk with the team earlier today. And again, we are excited about the opportunity to partner with the city of Forest Park. Kind of high level to talk about Gallagher, we are a global insurance brokerage firm. The public sector is one of our largest practice groups. As a matter of fact, we are the largest public sector practice group in the state of Georgia. We work with 50+ entities throughout the state, including City of Stockbridge, City of College Park, Clayton County Water, and several others. At this time, being that we do not have all of the information about the account in terms of coverage, premium specifics, can't really get into the weeds about that, but I will say that the number one priority is to prepare for the upcoming renewal. We want to first and foremost do an analysis, make sure that we are looking at the coverages and premiums. Secondly, get an understanding of the risk management culture that Forest Park has. Identify ways that we can improve the risk profile. And then lastly, the ultimate goal is to get ready for this renewal, put together a winning submission, and again, improving the overall risk profile. So we are excited about it and we're ready to get work, as early as tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman James.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. My question actually, I guess it would be for the city manager, as it relates to this not being bid out in over 13 years. What was the difference between the bid that we were able to secure and what we were being charged before?
So your property and liability coverage is a tad bit different from your standard contract that we would procure. We don't pay the broker. The broker is paid by the insurance carriers once they market us to the industry. And so the difference would be we've never bid it out. So the city never had a clear understanding if the broker, I like to consider our broker for property casualty and loss and employment benefits. They should be our trusted advisor as it relates to these services. And you'll recall last year when we went into our renewal season, I talked about how the deductible for certain things was $250,000. However, we were able to get it down to $200,000 before we signed off on that. And then we brought the broker in because this governing body had never even seen the full presentation. You only saw the numbers annualized. And so what we've done over the course of the year is implement different risk management policies and procedures just to try to limit what our exposure is in the market. And so what we wanted to ensure is that we had a broker of record that not only was forward thinking and innovative, we want to ensure that for an account this large, we have a broker that knows the market, they know the carriers as well as the underwriter. Because for this season, the broker will have to bring the underwriter to the table for us to talk about all of the things that we've accomplished over the course of the last year. Typically, when you go out to market, they're looking at a 5 to 7 year look back period, just as how it pertains to your exposure and liability. And so what we're excited about is as we've had some low years, we're excited that as we go to this renewal table, we've only had one claim.
Any other questions, Councilwoman James?
Yes, so with the operating budget increase, this seems kind of substantial. Can you kind of explain that a little bit? It's from 397,000 to 3,659,000
Would you mind sharing, Councilwoman James, which page you're on?
on page 68. And
Page
it's a part of the background and history.
I don't have a page 68, Councilwoman James.
It's on the back of the presentation.
Right here.
Here, let me show you.
So that background and history where it speaks to that increase that Mayor Butler just provided, that's for item number 2
Oh, okay. I'm
on the
sorry.
agenda. So again, to Mr. Duhart's point, we don't have a number for what type of increase or decrease we will experience for property and casualty services because it hasn't gone to the market. So if this item is ratified tonight, immediately tomorrow, we would issue a broker of record letter so that the new broker can go out to the market to solicit our services to the various entities that cover property and casualty.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Antoine?
No, thank you for your presentation, sir.
Welcome. Yeah.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation and just excited of the level, transparency our city has and just, how we are just showing everybody. And I think with competition, people thrive. And I think I've been to different GMA trainings where not every city's doing this, so I just want to just let our taxpayers know that, you know, we have some staff like our city manager right here that is, you know, open to, you know, being as transparent as possible with all these things.
Councilwoman Wells?
No, thank you for the presentation.
All right, and Councilman Mears?
Thank
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, council discussion and approval of a budget amendment for special revenue. Background and history. The City of Forest Park's fiscal year 23 and 24 operating budget was unanimously adopted by the City Council on June 29th of 2023. Prior to the adoption of the budget, city staff advised that funding and revenues would continuously be monitored for accuracy and reporting purposes. Staff is recommending that the understated funds be added to the operating budget, which will increase the stated revenue previously adopted on June 29th, 2023 from $397,928 to $3,659,000. $3,659,000.
You got it. You could do it.
$993. Okay, you guys got that, right? I hope so, 'cause
Got
I'm
it.
not doing it again. Once the funds have been added to the operating budget, it is also recommended that City Council approve the budget amendment to accurately reflect the corrected operating budget amount of $41,986,503. Thank you, for fiscal year 23 and 24. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Yes, sir.
This agenda item, Finance is asking that the council approve the budget amendment for this, and this is for the special revenues. You'll see, well, once I do the finance, the monthly statements presentation later on. In one of the graphs, we have certain funds. Right now, with this one here, we're gonna take care of the special revenue funds, which is in the 200 series. So with this, the financial impact here will be correcting. The correction would decrease the stated revenue previously adopted on June 29th, 2023 from, and this is for the revenue, from 10.5 million to 8.5, and increase the expenditure from 5.4 million to 5.9 million. This will result in a net surplus of about 2.5 back to the fund balance. And one of the main reasons why, also, this was improve our city audit findings. And this is one of the findings, one of the audit findings that they have reported to you when I first got here, is that the special revenue did not have budgets. So mainly what we're doing is going back and just correcting those findings.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman James,
Not at this time.
Councilman Antoine,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez,
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Wells,
No,
and Councilman Mears.
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. Item 3, council discussion and approval of certain purchases for the fire department. Background and history. The Forest Park Fire and EMS Department would like to purchase the following. First, 2 Kaiser sleds for fire stations 2 and 3 in the amount of $10,176.51. The funding source to be used is line item 100-61-3510-52-3712, and that's from training aids. The second item they would like to purchase is 4 portable radios in the amount of $22,370. The funding source to be used is line item 100-61-3510-52-2209, radio equipment. Item 3, 5 replacement radios in the amount of $33,024.65. The funding source to be used is line item 100-60-3610-52-3203, which is radio and pager maintenance. Item 4, ratification for a Lucas 3 V3 vest compression system in the amount of $15,624.46. The funding source to be used is line item 100-60-3610-53-1137, and that is from the rescue truck equipment line item. Item 5, ratification for 2 bunker gear dryers for fire stations 1 and 2 in the amount of $28,545. The funding source for this is line item 100-61-3510-52-2214, and that is facility improvements. Item 6, a fire prevention trailer in the amount of $197,526.35. The funding source for this is 100-61-3510-54-2502, and that's fire prevention funds collected in 2022 and 2023. Item 7, super struts and jumbo locks in the amount of $24,630. The funding source for this line item is 100-61-3520-53-1136, and that is from the vendor and municipal emergency services line item. And item 8, 25 voice amps in the amount of $16,313.25, and the funding source will be line item 100-61-3510-52-2209, and that is from the vendor. The vendor is the municipal emergency services line item.
Mayor Butler, if you would, just before Ms. Clark speaks, no relationship to me, different sets. I would like to officially introduce her to this community. This is Ms. Talisa Clark, who serves as another one of our procurement officers here for the city of Forest Park. So what you'll see, Ms. Clark and Mr. Jeter respectively, they've split up the departments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Public safety, fire and rescue is one of my departments, and I worked with them on getting these procurements presented to the to the council today. So 6 out of the 8 are coming from state contract, which is a cooperative agreement. That was the purchasing method that was used on those. And then we have 2, which is for Stryker Medical for the chest compression system, CPR, and the wholesale commercial laundry equipment for the 2 bunker gear dryers for fire stations 1 and 2. Those are, and we're asking for a ratification on those to get those approved.
Mayor Butler,
Yes, sir.
just for this governing body, some of this is cleanup.
Yes.
What we noticed was there were 3 different conflicting policies, ordinances, and/or resolutions on the books about what our different procurement levels were. There was a time in which the governing body made mention in the minutes of approving an update to it. So we're cleaning up some of this stuff. Our finance department is working with procurement on overhauling the entirety of that policy just to streamline what those policies and procedures are. And it is our goal to have you a revision to that ordinance so that we're all operating off of the same sheet of music sometime before July for your approval, so that our code language aligns with what our actual policies are.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman James,
No questions, thank you.
Councilman Antoine,
Sounds good.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Y'all got everything? Cause it's a long list.
Councilwoman Wells,
No, thank you.
and Councilman Mears. All right, thank you. Item 4, emergency discussion for the selection of our official benefits broker. And so, Mr. Clark, I'll let you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor and council, similar to the presentation that you heard from our procurement department for property and casualty services, we also bid out our benefit services. Historically, for 13 years, the city has used the same broker who's done a good job for the city for 13 years. And so when we bid out our services, we bid them out. You could either bid on one or the other or both. And so we feel confident that we are moving, well, I'll let Mr. Jeter pick up the rear.
Again, Gerard Jeter from Procurement Division. We had 9 proponents to submit proposals, and the top ranked proposer was MSI. And they're here tonight to do a short presentation because we're kind of under the gun We have to get this done prior to, is it May?
July 1 is already
July.
there.
So we kind of expedited, but everything was done properly from the procurement code. Again, we had 9 proponents, and this was the top ranked proponent.
Mayor
All right,
Butler,
thank you. Mhm.
MSI is present with a short presentation that you have in front of you.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Council. Good to see you. Thanks for having me here. It's John Leggett with MSI Benefits Group, and I think we're going to put the presentation up on the screen, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it works. I saw it earlier. Until then, I will say that you have very nice hair.
Well, thank you.
You give Mr. Wiggins a run for his money.
Oh, gosh.
Well, thank you.
Just can you help yourself?
He doesn't have nice hair.
I'll take any compliment I can get. Okay.
Ears, don't make it bad.
All right, let's see if the clicker will take it back. Okay. All right. So this presentation is 21 pages. There'll be several that I'll click through. So don't worry. But I'm John Leggett with MSI Benefits Group. I would be the city's broker, consultant, main point of contact. I'll be the one here annually presenting the renewal to you and looking at claims. And then back here, we have Zoe Worrell. She is the account manager. And as you see, we're out of Kennesaw. We're only do business in Georgia. Georgia is our home. That's the only place we work. And I've got a couple slides on that. So I've been doing this for almost 22 years. We mostly work with public sector. In the 22 years I've been doing this, we've seen a lot of changes in our industry. Bigger brokers buying up smaller brokers. We're locally owned and operated. We're not for sale. And again, we only do business in Georgia and mostly public sector. You'll see some of our clients right here. Over 60 in Georgia. I think Gallagher is a great broker on the property and casualty side. They have the most government groups on that side. I believe in Georgia, we had the most on the benefit side. So in the area, we've got, you can see City of McDonough, Stockbridge, all the cities in Henry County, Lawrenceville, Noonan. We go all the way up from the top part of the state, close to Dalton, down to Brunswick, over to Americus, Columbus, Augusta. We're, as you would imagine, we participate in several of the government conferences. We got ACCG coming up next week down in Savannah. Get into this. So we look at ourselves like an extension of HR. So we're highly involved. So Miss Diane will become our best friend, we hope. But we do the consulting. We're going to do the analytics. We do the marketing every year where we look at the benefits. Renewal is right around the corner. I know the city is fully insured, has Cigna, and that's the thing that would be pressing right now. Once we finalize benefits, once mayor and council approve the benefits, that's when we hit the ground running for enrollment, meeting with employees, making sure everybody's enrolled and understand the benefits. We do show up. We do come back every month. I believe the city has 2 new hire orientations every month. That will be ran by us, our enrollment team. We're old school, and then when you call our office, a person answers the phone. We encourage employees to call our office. Don't call the insurance company, call us. If you need help, we'll call them. We'll call the doctor. So we encourage that and want that. We reconcile every invoice. We will reconcile all bills for the city, make sure they're accurate before they're paid. We're going to help you keep with compliance. We're going to be involved with the health and wellness as well. All the annual notices, everything, COBRA administration. So we're a full service benefits broker. Again, I'm going quick. Open enrollment. We're going to design a new employee benefits guide. We print those in-house. As I said earlier, we got a printer about the size of that conference table. We get packets out to everybody so they can take it home, show it to their spouse, and go over the benefits before open enrollment. And then our enrollment team will be back out here to meet with employees face to face. Clicker's a little delayed. That's our enrollment platform. That's just a screenshot. This is kind of some sample reporting I said I would click through. We're going to analyze your claims every year, and that is obviously what we use for marketing when we do go to market. And these are just some sample reporting that we have from a client here. Someone click through all this. See if there's anything else. We're going to analyze your drugs. We're going to look at the conditions that are going on. This is all due to marketing and helping us understand how the plan's running and helping us with other carriers that are looking to propose and negotiate a better rate on behalf of the city. Some of our clients, this is a benchmark report, so we provide benchmarking report. How do you stack up and compare to other local governments in Georgia? So you'll see this. And then you guys, the city is currently fully insured. You'll see least flexible, lowest risk. May be worth staying there. We're going to take a look at that. As you move over to the right, getting towards the self-funded, you have more flexibility, but there may be more risk involved. So this is something that we will look at annually. You know, Cigna is a great carrier. I know the city's had them for 4 years. It may be that they give us the best numbers this year, but we will analyze and take a look at the entire benefits package on an annual basis. This just talks about when you do go self-funded, unbundling. You can have the carrier model. You use a Cigna as the administrator, or you can unbundle it and have a third-party administrator, and you can actually pick and choose different pieces of your health plan. Gives you a little bit more flexibility, and there's things you can do on the pharmacy piece that will help you save money. This is a case study. You can see just to keep it short, the blue that's higher than the colored ones, the green and yellow and orange. Those were the claims for this particular client on pharmacy alone in 2020. We moved into a different pharmacy benefit manager, and they cut their pharmacy claims in half. This is one of the big things that you can do is on the pharmacy piece. Everybody knows pharmacy costs are just skyrocketing. So we do have a solution there, and we will definitely take a look at that. Just involves going self-funded, which we, again, will review. Of course, we're going to get involved with wellness. I know wellness is a big deal here. The city has Motivate Me, and I know MSI will be involved with a health fair. Any local events that are going on, we'd be glad to sponsor and be a part of that as well. But we will be involved on a regular basis with the wellness team. And then this is a summary of all our services for you to read, not for me to read. So kind of covers everything, ACA reporting, everything that we do. So that in a nutshell is us. We're, like I said, glad to be here. Any questions?
Thank you very much for your report. Councilwoman James, any questions or comments?
Yes, so I'm a little ill prepared, but just want to know, is this something that's going to eliminate what we already have? Or is this in addition to what we have, or what?
So no, so as an employee, you will not know that these services have changed. The whole goal with it is that on the front end, similar to what he stated, he'll become Miss Diane's best friend because she's administering these benefits on behalf of the city. And one of the things that I shared with our HR team, a lot of stuff that we're doing in-house, I'm accustomed to the broker handling those functions. I'm accustomed to the broker being very vigilant in the community. I'm accustomed to the broker fighting for us as a trusted client. And so the hope is when we go to market that since the broker is so large that they have more relationships on the carrier side, so what we get from a renewal, we benefit from the relationships that they have. If you want to expand on that.
You did a great job. I mean, as we were talking, we had our meeting earlier, and one of the things that got brought up was the renewal. And we had 9 people from the Cigna management team, including an underwriter, the account managers, wellness coordinators, management, come to our office and deliver all of our July renewals. And I was kind of surprised that the city didn't have its renewal yet. And that was a couple of weeks ago. We're considered a platinum broker with Cigna. We're a true blue broker with Anthem. We've got, a great relationship with Aetna and United Healthcare. And we're down to 4, 5, if you want to count Kaiser as fully insured options. And so we have great relationships with those carriers. And then of course, when we go looking at the self-insured model, there's definitely more options and more flexibility. And we're going to take a look at all of that, make sure what's the best solution for the city. And our goal is to never come in and change benefits. You guys have a nice benefits package. We would never come in and say, let's increase the deduction and increase deductibles and things like that. That wouldn't go over well. Our goal is to manage your premium dollars and to create a very competitive benefits package that helps you attract and retain employees.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Antoine.
Thank you for the presentation. I like on page 18, savings of the case study.
Mhm.
I learned a lot from that.
It is amazing what this company's doing, and we have them in about 15 different employers. That particular county is down in South Georgia, and we've got several in this area that have gone the same route. And it's not that they're just taking drugs away and seeing the savings. Employees are still getting, members are still getting the same medications at much lower cost. You know, I saw in the city's benefit guide, you guys have GoodRx. And you have to ask yourself, why can I get certain drugs cheaper on GoodRx than I can through my health plan? And it's because of the spread pricing that's built into those drugs. They're making money off the medications. So we have a solution that we partner with this pharmacy benefit manager and eliminate that. Employees are happy, the customer service is great, and the city will see some big savings if we go that route. But you do have to be self-funded.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, really excited about this. A few years ago, I know we made a shift and supposedly it was supposed to be a very small thing, but a lot of our employees had to change a lot of things. They're doctors, they're dermatologists, eyes. So I'm glad we have somebody fighting for us. I definitely want to make it better. I always brag about the benefits we have, so I wouldn't want to, see it, getting worse unless, it's a funding issue, but yeah.
Absolutely. And one thing that got brought up today is you want stability. You definitely don't want change every year. You want to stay with a carrier as long as you can. I like 3 to 5 years. So if you can keep that stability, employees get comfortable whenever there's change, there's disruption, especially on the pharmacy side. So it's something that we like to preach, is to stay with one carrier as long as you can, not flip-flop every year.
Councilwoman Wells.
Thank you for the presentation, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Clark for recognizing that a change is needed and bringing these guys forward to us. So thank you so much for that.
Councilman Mears.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5, council discussion and approval to authorize the police department to submit and accept an explosive ordnance disposal canine grant. Background and history. The city of Forest Park has a population exceeding 20,000 residents, is a vibrant city hosting a mix of elements, including a military base, diverse businesses such as industrial complexes, and its proximity to the world's busiest airport. The Forest Park Police Department has identified specific sensitive areas within the city, responding to an increased volume of service calls related to security threats. In response, the department is seeking authorization to pursue an explosive ordnance disposal grant offered by Homeland Security. If successful in securing the grant, it will enable the acquisition of essential equipment, including a trained canine, specialized vehicle, and requisite training. These resources are essential for enhancing the department's capability in addressing threats posed by explosives, thereby ensuring the safety and security of Forest Park and its residents. Acceptance of this grant was signify a crucial step towards fortifying the city's preparedness and response to potential security risks. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I saw this was a need for the police department just based off of our recent call volume and recent activity. Just here recently, we've had a couple of bomb threats, and we don't have any type of equipment to assist us with searching for any type of explosive device or gunpowder. And so I put my team to work and had them look for some grants to assist us in acquiring this equipment. And this equipment just will better assist us with some of our sensitive areas throughout the city.
Councilwoman James.
Thank you for that.
Councilman Antoine.
She answered my question. I was going to say who, what, when, who, how. How did, who actually sat down and figured this out? That's amazing. This is good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez. I'm sorry, were you done?
Yes, always. Thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you, Chief.
My pleasure.
Councilwoman Wells.
Oh, thank you, Chief.
Oh.
Oh, my
In action, folks.
Yes. Councilman Mears, is there anything you want to say?
No,
Oh,
I'm
you
just
got-
glad that
How cute.
we're keeping up with the
Where,
times
who,
because
how,
people are
how
getting
did that happen?
more and more violent, and we want y'all to have all the tools you need to be effective.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
It's girl. I know, easily distracted, right? Okay, she goes along with item number 6, council discussion and approval to accept the donation of a bloodhound. Background, Background and history. The Forest Park Police Department operates around the clock every day of the year with 4 shifts managing service calls. Currently, the department employs 4 purpose canines, which undertake tasks such as search and rescue operations for missing persons, detection of illegal narcotics, and assistance in criminal apprehension. These canines also engage in community building activities by participating in educational programs in schools. The department is seeking approval to accept the donation of a bloodhound from the Jimmy Rice Center, established by the parents of Jimmy Rice after his tragic kidnapping, rape, and murder in 1995. The Jimmy Rice Center aims to prevent the sexual exploitation and predatory abduction of children, provide resources to parents and law enforcement in abduction cases, and assist in safely bringing abducted children home. The Bloodhound will be utilized primarily for search and rescue operations for missing persons, particularly those suffering from mental illness. The Jimmy Rice Center has generously donated over 6,000 bloodhounds to law enforcement agencies nationwide. The department is committed to covering all expenses related to the training, equipment, and healthcare for the bloodhound. You have the floor, sir.
Greetings again. So to my left, this is K9 Crypto. And K9 Crypto, the foundation wants to donate K9 Crypto to the city of Forest Park. Based off of the tragedy that happened back in 1991, where the founder's parents, their child was abducted, was raped, and it was murdered. The family believes that if K9 resources were available, they might have been able to save their child's life. So K9 Crypto, full-blooded bloodhound, will assist us in searching for missing persons. I think that's all I have. So this is K9 Crypto, a full-blooded bloodhound that they wish to donate to us.
Councilwoman James.
No, thank you. Welcome aboard, K9 Crypto.
But the name's Crypto.
K9 Crypto, yeah, they named the dog Crypto.
Get a good smell now. And remember me.
A good testing for names if you gotta scream it out loud.
Okay.
So, and just in addition to K9 Crypto,
Get one, they're really big though.
yes,
Bro.
yes. K9 Crypto will also be used as an emotional support dog for the community as well as our officers.
Work behind the scenes. I like people that work behind the scenes, folks.
Let's see, Councilman Gutierrez, questions or comments? Councilwoman Wells.
No, thank you, Chief. I mean, I would just like to say thank you to the Jimmy Rice Center, for thinking of the city of Forest Park and our department and community. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Councilman Mears.
We've got, how many, other dogs do we have?
Yes, so currently we have 4 canines available in service. Those canines are dual purpose dogs. So not only do they detect narcotics, they also assist in criminal apprehension. This canine, and the reason why a bloodhound is so important is that a lot of our current canines will burn out very quickly if they're trying to do a track and a search. The bloodhound has a lot more endurance, and on top of their strong nose, they will be able to, we will be able to deploy the canine days out if need be.
I've got a question for.
Yes, sir.
City Manager. Do we have proper facilities to support these dogs with kennels and things that we had a little problem years back when we started with
Yes, sir.
situation.
Yes, sir. I'm well aware of that situation. And if accepted tonight, Chief Chris will work with our legal team to effectuate the actual paperwork, policy, procedure, contracts that are needed to ensure our exposure with the actual acceptance of the bloodhound.
Right. Well, I just want to make sure we got enough support, vet, pens, feeding, everything that it causes to keep them in line.
Yes, sir. There is a cost. There is certainly a cost. And what we can do, we can provide a detailed synopsis of what we're currently paying for the 3 dogs, I believe we have.
We have 4 dogs.
4 dogs that we have here in the city of Forest Park. But this item tonight was just to get council's blessing to accept the donation, and subsequent to that, Chief Chris will work with our legal team to effectuate any and all items relative to the acceptance of this dog.
Good.
And I think you work with people that have avid dog lovers. So if they're not taking care of these dogs, they'll have more issues than not.
Yes, and just to add on additional to what Mr. Clark said, we do currently have very strict policies as it relates to our canines to ensure that they have proper shelter, proper food, and they are receiving proper medical care as well.
And the other thing, Councilman Mears, that I'll share, I asked Chief Chris one day, I said, well, maybe it was Mayor Butler. Do we do home inspections to make certain that their home is conducive to the environment I would want my furry animal to be in, as well as in the new facility, the dogs in our new city center, the dogs will be inside the building.
And just in addition to the current living arrangements for our canines are top level, top tier. They have heating and cooling inside of their dog houses, so they do have proper shelter.
You know, my wife says I don't have a heart. I got a thumping gizzard, but animals are my love, and it kills me when you see police dogs and equipment dying of, abused in their cars or whatever happens. And I just want to make sure everything goes about.
Yes, and just one last thing to add, if I may. All of our K9 vehicles have been upgraded, so they're no longer driving, their cars are no longer needing any service. So we have equipped all of our K9 cars with the latest and best technology for our K9s.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, Chief, I just want to thank you again. This is extremely innovative. And, since you've been here, you've invested in different tactics for us, to improve as a department and a city. I just wanted to add what you mentioned, just to make sure everybody heard, but the emotional aspect of these dogs.
Yes.
A lot of schools are investing now in animals like this, and they're so smart, not only tracking, but they can actually smell who, I went to a training that they can tell who the saddest child is or who's going through some trauma.
Right.
The dog can identify that and go to that person. So that is, I think that's going to be extremely innovative to de-escalating situations, or I don't know how we're going to use it, but that's amazing.
Yes, and I'll let Corporal Hunter expand on what the dog picks up on as it relates to emotional support.
Good evening, Mayor, Council,
Good
City
evening.
Manager. So yes, dogs are known to release endorphins in people's minds when they see them. They spark happiness. So Chief Chris approached me and asked was this something possible to be done? Absolutely. So we're going to highly socialize her. So don't be surprised if you see us walking around the city, going into businesses. That's how we socialize her, and she'll pick up on it naturally. Dogs know when people are not happy. And then they just make you happy by doing silly things.
Yeah.
So, but the Bloodhound is trained to be scent specific, meaning they lock onto a specific scent and will follow it till it is no more. So hopefully at the end of that no more, there's a person.
Thank you.
Councilman Antoine.
Yes, Chief. I was curious. I thought you said that your department does visits throughout the community, and
Yes.
if you do, can you share that with us? Because I thought that was very important that you said that.
Well, yes. So we do have a school program where we will be deploying our K9s into the schools. We'll be utilizing K9 crypto, if approved tonight, in the schools because he's more social. She is more sociable. And so it just gives us a little bit more opportunities to get inside the community.
Okay.
And one thing I didn't know, it's a fun fact, but if you look at the Bloodhound and its ears, you find them very long. And from my understanding and through research, they utilize their ears to sweep the scent into their nose. So that's why you see Bloodhounds with very long ears.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Item 7, council discussion and approval of the special facilities request at Star Park and sponsored by Legendary WIGO 1570 AM and Operation Push 2 LLC for Saturday, May 11th, 2024, between the hours of 12 PM and 6 PM. Background and history. The second annual Jam for Peace, sponsored by legendary WIGL 1570 AM and Operation Push 2, Inc., scheduled for Saturday, May 11th, 2024 at 12 PM to 6 PM at Star Park Amphitheater. During this event, there will be a collective of activities with musical performances and entertainment provided by local, regional, and national artists, church and school choirs, and include an education fair with a representation of higher institutions of learning, counseling for grants and scholarships, and employment job fair with representation from businesses and employment agencies to include job counseling, interview techniques, resume preparation, and dressing for an interview. A health fair with representation from local medical facilities, mental health agencies and clinics, peer counseling, and meditation to include some basic screenings. Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. What you have before you is a special facility request form. When an organization comes in and want to use our facility, they will complete this form. We'll present it before council and get you guys' recommendation on how to move forward. Today, I got a representative from that organization, Mr. Jay Francis, that let you guys know about what his organization has planned for May the 11th. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not as cute as Crypto, so I don't know if I'll get the same acceptance, Mr. Gutierrez. Today is the best day of my life, and I thank you for allowing me for a few moments to be a part of your life. I am Jay Francis Springs, a marketing consultant for Stellar Award winner legendary WIGL 1570 AM, Clayton County's pace setter radio station. To the Honorable Mayor, Ms. Angeline Butler, the Honorable City Council members, Ms. James, Mr. Antoine, Mr. Gutierrez, Ms. Aiken-Wells, Mr. Mears, and the Honorable Director of Recreation and Leisure Services, Mr. Tariq Maxwell, and the Honorable City Manager, Mr. Clark. It is a humbling honor for me to be making this presentation to this auspicious body of leadership of the City of Forest Park. Please allow me a moment to express my sincere gratitude to Mayor Butler, Ms. Aiken-Wells, and Mr. Maxwell for sharing their cooperative vision of bringing a major initiative of inspiration and direction to Forest Park and supportively partnering with my station in effecting this activity, the second annual Jam for Peace, sponsored by legendary WIGL 1570 AM and Operation Push 2, whom seated is Mr. or Bishop L.C. Wheat, which is scheduled for Saturday, May the 11th, 2024, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Turl Star Park. My radio station, legendary WIGL 1570 AM, had its foundational beginnings in the city of Forest Park when it was started by automobile magnate Mr. Lou Evans as WSSA in the 1960s. And I have been a part of the staff of the radio station since 1983. During my career with the station, I have advertised for many of the businesses in Forest Park, and my audience has been very supportive and loyal to those advertisers. During the centennial observation of the city of Forest Park, WIGO was blessed to create a very positive relationship with the Department of Recreation and Leisure, and we broadcast live every day of the celebration from Turl Star Park. And we have advertised and been involved with the promotion and marketing of practically every event since that time, with noticeable and appreciable attendance from my listeners, including my participation as the host announcer for the Christmas parade, where I had a chance to do that with Mayor Butler, and as the master of ceremony for the Christmas festival. My reason for standing here today along with this other handsome gentleman, is to give you an overview of this event, which will be a collective of activities with musical performances and entertainment provided by local, regional, and national artists, church and school choirs, and include an educational fair with representation of higher institutions of learning, counseling for grants and scholarships, and employment job fair with representation from businesses and employment agencies to include job counseling, interview techniques, resume preparation, and dressing for an interview, a health fair with representation from local medical facilities, mental health agencies and clinics, peer counseling, and mediation to include some basic screening. The second annual Jam for Peace will provide access to employment opportunities for youth as a diversionary measure to negative activities during the summer vacation and beyond, educational resources for students preparing for college or a technical training career, and will be open to the public. Agencies and organizations with summer camp programs will be available for preteens and teens needing care during the day while parents are working, and they will also be present. In conclusion, I say thank you, and I am offering the services of WIGO to help Forest Park grow. I'm offering the media experience of WIGO to help effect the marketing plan of Forest Park succeed. I am offering WIGO as a part of the team to tell the story of Clayton County's greatest city, the city for every season, the city of Forest Park.
Thank you so much. Councilwoman James.
No questions. Thank you so much.
Councilman Antoine.
I know this gentleman right here, he's a good representation, and I believe you. Thank you for doing this partnership with us. God bless you, young man.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Very excited about this. Thank you, sir, for that description.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I would just like to say thank you so much, Jay Francis and Pastor Wheat. I know in the past, WIGO was very much involved in the things that the city of Forest Park had going on. They've always been there and supported, sponsored events, and it's just good to see you all back. And hopefully we can rebuild the relationship that we once had, and you know, you all get back involved with the community. So this is very exciting, and it's so good to have you all here. Thank you so much.
Councilman Mears.
Thank you for that presentation, son. Very well put together. So commend you on that. Thank you.
Mayor Butler, staff, we have one more. If approved, we would like to ask that, as we should with individuals renting our parks based upon the event size, we would like to add a condition that they provide us with a certificate of insurance listing the city of Forest Park as additionally insured. That way, should something, we know it will not, Mr. Springs is well respected, not just in Forest Park, but throughout Clayton County, but just erring on the side of caution, should something happen, everybody is covered. I'm not sure if Attorney Matricardi would like to opine further. And then the second condition would be just the requisite event security for the event.
Jam of peace, man. There's gonna be peace, though. There's not gonna be.
Were you gonna add something?
Yes, I mean, that's something that I recommend for every special event. I think it should become standard practice and policy to require a certificate of insurance with additional insured. So
Is there a minimum?
$1 million aggregate, I believe is what it typically is.
yes, I generally recommend 1 million aggregate. I can provide Mr. Clark with the standard insurance limits that I recommend for all my clients.
And it sounds like a lot, but it's not. They'll just go to whomever their insurance company is and obtain. And typically I've seen it go anywhere from $100 to $150.
Yes, sir. Can I add something?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I see that, I like that. I mean, but is that gonna keep you from having the event?
No, sir, not at all.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because we want to have this.
And Councilman Gutierrez, if you would, this is standard. So what we're trying to do is set the standard, because should Mr. Springs, well, I've done many events with it. Should Mr. Springs have an event and something happens in that park and we don't have any type of certificate of insurance covering us, then we're completely exposed.
Yes.
And it's standard. If he went to anywhere else, he knows this already.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Is that it? All right. And we have no executive session tonight, correct? Do you really? You're joking. Can we get done in? No. Okay, well, we will have an item. So with that, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn the work session. Is there a motion to adjourn the work session?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Antoine. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
thank you. We shall return in 5 minutes. And council for April 15th is called to order. Let's see, Dr. Payton is doing tonight's invocation. So all those who are able to, can you please stand and then remain?
You called for executive session.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I called it to order.
Okay.
So yes, please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you now for this time and this place that we have assembled to do your business on behalf of this city. We thank you, God, for the mayor, the city manager, and all of the council people, God, how they work so diligently to make this city better. We invoke your presence here tonight, God, to help us to accomplish tonight what needs to be accomplished, all for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Rainey, can we have our roll call, please?
Yes, good evening, Mayor Butler, council members and city manager, Mr. Clark. This is the roll call for the regular session of April 15th, 2024. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James,
Present.
Councilmember Anton,
Evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good.
Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember Akins Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor Butler, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. The adoption of the agenda. We will need to delete item 7. And we are going to add the approval for our official benefits broker. Okay, the approval of MSI as our official broker for employee benefits to be effective immediately. So is there a motion to accept tonight's agenda with the said recommendations and changes?
So move.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
A second.
That was Councilman Anton. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The minutes from April 1st, has everyone had the opportunity to review them? And if so, are there any changes to be recommended?
So move.
All right, that was Councilman Mears. Is there a second?
I'll second.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Let's see, we have public comments. Ms. Rainey, can you please read the disclaimer?
Yes, section 2-1-7 rules of procedure and decorum. Comments will be limited to a total of 3 minutes per speaker. 21 minutes are allotted in total. Members of the public are not allowed to participate in any debate or discussion conducted by the governing body members. All public comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or which the governing body has jurisdiction. Each speaker must maintain a decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon members of the governing body or employees, shouting and using obscene language. All questions and comments shall be directed to the presiding officer. Members of the governing body may respond to the comments during their closing comments if they desire.
Thank you very much. We have 3 speakers, and the first is Mr. Randall.
Good evening, Ms. Mayor,
Good evening.
Manager, everybody up at the top.
Good evening, young man.
I'm only just bringing a couple of concerns to the city of Forest Park. My first concern is, if we can try to get training for the paramedics in the city. Over the past weekend, on Saturday night, I called, out for a paramedics unit to transport me to Southern Regional Hospital due to difficulty breathing. As I was getting in the back of the paramedics, the ambulance, 2 paramedics were literally fighting over who was going to drive me to the hospital. It is unacceptable to me, knowing that I can't breathe very well, in the back of that ambulance. Then I was not given any oxygen until the ambulance was actually started up and left my house. It took them almost 20 minutes to figure out who's gonna drive. I literally told them they're gonna play rock, paper, scissors on who's gonna drive. Just get me to the hospital safely. That was my only issue. Then being disrespected by one of the paramedics, I'm not gonna tolerate. That's just something I'm not. You know, I left that hospital, went to Piedmont, transported by Clayton County instead. I wasn't gonna tolerate it. And my second issue is knowing that the city has millions and millions of dollars in their bank accounts, try to use some of those funds as taxpayers' money to help the homeless in the city than threatening the homeless to take them to jail for loitering improperly. This past Wednesday of last week, I had a friend of mine was homeless sleeping at the Billy Lee's Park, was approached at nighttime by a lieutenant. Not going to speak of her name, but I do got video footage, and I will be exposing that video because of her actions actually caused the lady to take her life. I received a phone call from Atlanta detective today. My number was in her phone as an emergency contact. I've only known this girl a week. She took her life and wrote a letter stating that the lieutenant that she had encounter with is the reason she took her life. So I encourage the city to get officers training instead of threatening somebody and threatening to take their freedom away for them not having anything is just not right. And she was a veteran too. That's all I gotta say.
All right, thank you. Mr. Evans.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
One thing I want to talk about here is, at the last meeting, it was mentioned that the city was interested in purchasing some, EVs. And, I think y'all need to do the research before you jump on the bandwagon on those things. There's been studies that have proven that the emissions for the mining of the materials that goes into those things are considerably higher than the internal combustion engines. Also, it's about 46% of our total emissions, and the internal combustion engines only equate to about 26% of the total, everything else, of emissions that's produced. Also, those, they're about 30% heavier than a standard vehicle. That's going to wear out our roads considerably quicker. Also, they use a special compound on their tires. It's a harder compound, and it's been proven to it flakes off like little micro particles and pollutes extremely badly. It gets into our water system and everything else. And also, if those batteries rupture and they catch fire, it takes an average of 36,000 gallons of water to put one of those out. Actually, you can't put one out with water. That's how much they put on there just to try to cool it off enough to keep from having any other problem. And a regular vehicle takes less than 500 gallons of water to extinguish a fire. So those kinds of things we need to look into. They are actually worse for the environment, and those lithium-ion batteries are extremely expensive, not only to purchase but to replace, and for the recycling of those things. So we need to look into that before we go purchasing something. And also, Georgia Power doesn't have the grid to help charge those things right now, and they're not going to. No, I mean, no electric company's gonna have that in probably another 10, 15 years to be able to do that. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr. Ibanez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council, and everybody. I'd like to thank you for the police department. Chief is bringing up a lot of good ideas, good things. I want to thank you. And as you told me and asked me to work with you, I'm gonna work with you. There's a lot of
Okay,
things
Mr.
that
Ibanez,
a lot of
please
people-
direct all your comments and questions to the chair.
Oh, yes. So I had an incident today in the Texaco, and there was a car running almost run me over. Was about 4 inches away from me, and it was kind of a little fast. So I was wondering what happened. Then I called the police. The police arrived, and they can make an incident report because nobody got hurt. But they left. Then I called the chief of police, and I was trying to find out what was going on. But anyway, we didn't get no report. So I hope we can get a follow-up. And also, we're looking at that we have a dog. Hopefully, dog can help us to determine if a person is on drugs, on prescription drugs, or it can help us to, like he was saying, what type of emotion might be the person it is. Also, I'd like to know if the dog, it will be on the cover. On the cover, if it can work under the cover, right?
Okay,
No?
Mr. Ibanez,
Okay,
thank you.
yes. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you very much. City Manager's report.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor and Council, members of this esteemed community and all of our directors that are here with us today. I only have 106 pages tonight, and so I will not try to go through it all. But there are some things that I want to note just before I start the city manager's report. First, we are celebrating in conjunction with all of the other cities around the state of Georgia, Georgia Cities Week, beginning on Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. We will have one of our very first public safety pinning and promotion ceremonies. It is at 6 o'clock in the gymnasium. This has been something that I've asked our chiefs to do just based upon me really wanting to instill pride into our employees as they matriculate through the organization. So again, Mayor and Council, we would love for you all to attend that event at 6 o'clock in the gymnasium. On Thursday, April 25th, we're celebrating Georgia Cities Week with a Coffee with the Chiefs event. The event will be held at one of our newest brunch and lunch spots in the city of Forest Park, and that's Jerry's Cafe, located at 4609 Jonesboro Road. It begins at 9 o'clock. While I'm not sure that it's sanitary to have the dogs with food and coffee, we would like you all to go out and meet our pair of chiefs, both Chief Clemens and Chief Chris.
Yes, sir.
Nothing shown in the.
Yes, sir. We haven't dived down into the city manager's report yet, but thank you. On Friday, April 26th, 2024, we are encouraging everyone to come out to our first food and wine crawl event starting at 5 o'clock. This is the culminating activity for our Georgia Cities Week, and we are being very intentional with our Office of Economic Development about activating other areas around our community so that we spread out where we do these events out. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family of Skip Layton of Falcon Engineering, who recently passed away. Mr. Shelby and I had meetings with Mr. Layton and his team every week since I've been here, and I can share with you we lost a true gem in this community. Given the volume of responses that we've received from our home program, we anticipate finalizing the acceptance and denial process over the next few weeks, and we gently ask for patience from our community. We have qualified a list of 29 contractors to perform allowable services for home renovations. And I would also like to commend Mr. Shelby and the members of the Forest Park Fire Department. For the first time ever, we won the Dan R. Brown Award from the Georgia American Concrete Institute for Best Public Project for the Public Safety Building at Gillum. This award is provided for communities based upon their unique and significant concrete applications. So big congratulations to our fire department. All right, now diving into the city manager's report. First, what I want to point out is, again, thank you to the members of this governing body, the employees, directors, for my recent accomplishment of City Manager of the Year from the Georgia Minority Awards Association. Mayor Butler, thank you for all that you did, and thank you for everyone that was able to attend. It's really a true testament to know that I'm the type of city manager. I come here because I believe in the impact that you can have on an office working in local government and not the actual check that comes with it. So my commitment to this community is that I'll continue to be a visionary leader, ensuring that this community is left better than it was when I got here. Diving into some of these employees' work anniversaries, we'd like to recognize Todd Bailey, who has been with us since March 25th, 1996, as well as William Mathis and Keith King. Those are our most tenured employees for the month of March. Moving on, council members, since we have so many activities coming up, I'd like to thank Samaria out of the executive offices for adding another page to the city manager's report. And what we're trying to do is ensure that our community, as well as our governing body members, know all of the various activities that are occurring around our community. Next slide, please. For our legislative corner, this month, our council aides fielded 28 calls from the community with different questions and assisted 129 home program grant applicants. For members of the community that are not aware, this is a program that was approved by this governing body, totaling $1.3 million for the renovation of what we consider our legacy residents, the exterior of their homes. Some of the events, Mayor Butler hosted the Pillars Luncheon, a tour of the Sankofa Montessori School, Glass Ceilings Women History Month event. Also, Mayor Butler hosted her monthly book clubs meeting there at Unidos. For Ward 1, Councilman Kimberly James hosted her Hunger Walk and Run, her Ward Day. Also, we were able to assist Councilwoman James with the Career Day over at Forest Park High School, where we shared with all of the various members of that school just the various services in which we provide. For Ward 3, Councilman Hector Gutierrez, the Senior Panthers in Action Bingo, and the Teens in Action Committee. For Ward 4, Councilwoman Wells, the Wellness with Wells, the Interview Radio with WIGO, the Pillars Luncheon, the Job Fair, which was very well received. For Ward 5, Councilman Mears sat through a long meeting as we work to bring forward our recommendations for pension throughout this city. All right, moving on. Again, these are just some photos from the executive offices. One of the things I want to note to the bottom corner, and I'll let Councilman Gutierrez share what her name is, from the Georgia Hispanic Latino Chamber.
I was saying Fatima, no, but you're talking about Veronica.
So we had a very productive meeting with Veronica, who is the president and founder or president of the Georgia Hispanic Latino Chamber of Commerce. And we are excited about the opportunities that we'll unveil there as we continue to try to pull in closer our Hispanic and Latino communities in this community. All right. Again, the other new thing that we've added to this report, council members, this is just a listing of all of the new businesses within your respective wards that open for the month of March. This picture on the next slide shows our first annual St. Patrick's Day event. Of course, there is no Forest Park without our dance and seniors. So we are really excited about the future of that fountain and how we continue to activate it. Again, next slide. Ms. Pauline, our senior management analyst here in the executive offices, continuing to work on several big events that we have coming up this week as we celebrate Fort Gillem as the fastest growing rapid redevelopment of a decommissioned military base in the world, with over $1 billion worth of impact to this community. Next slide, please. Council, this is just a snapshot of some of the projects that we're working on. First, our proposed city center. We are looking forward to bringing this project to full fruition sometime within the next year. We've laid out, as I continue to wait on the advancement of that slide, We've laid out the foundation for the city center, and we're just hopeful that before the month of July, we'll be able to show our governing body first. Next slide, please. Our governing body first, as well as our community, the work that we've done. We're excited about this facility because it will allow all of our user departments to be under one roof just to maximize efficiencies, as well as it boasts a new state-of-the-art senior center for all of our legacy residents. Next slide, please. Council, we are continuing to work on uplighting for our welcome signs, thanks to our Public Works Department and Mr. Shelby. A lot of the lights are starting to go underway. And the other thing that we're excited to announce is that for the upcoming budget year, we put a huge focus on littering efforts around our city, as well as beautification efforts, not just in our residential neighborhoods, but also at some of our main key gateway entrances, as well as focusing on the corridors of 285, where individuals coming into our community think it's cool to just throw trash out the road. So we're excited about some things that we're working on, and we look forward to bringing that to you in the coming months as we discuss our upcoming budget. Next slide, please, is the business incubator projects. We are still working on some various cost proposals for this facility. The item that we pulled off the agenda tonight was for us to begin fixing the facade as to what this building will look like. We're excited that based upon the press that we've been able to get through our press secretary, Mr. Javon Lloyd, we've had a lot of feedback from the business community as to how we can run this and the benefit of it to our community. Again, this is a 3-restaurant food terminal, as well as an incubator space for our residents. The Forest Park Landscape Median Project, again, we're continuing to work through our capital projects manager, now our interim director of planning and community developments, just fixing our medians. One of the things we want everyone to recognize is that when you enter the city limits of Forest Park, you not only know that you're there by gateway signage, you know that you're here based upon the way that our community looks and functions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. We're continuing to work on the Star Park renovations, and then I'll breeze through some of the updates from our department. So first up is our city clerk's office. For the month of March, we fielded 100 open records requests for that department. For our code enforcement department, we're excited that the Beautification Commission, under the leadership of Mr. Dare Walker, our director of code enforcement, they are meeting, they are engaged. In fact, we're excited to invite all of our community to an event that they will have, their inaugural beautification cleanup day on April 20th, 2024. We'll meet at Pavilion number 3 at Star Park, and that event begins at 10 a.m. Again, that's our inaugural cleanup day in partnership with the Forest Park Ministers Association. Next slide, please. Next slide. Within the Office of Economic Development, I know that you've seen a lot of these projects be on this report month after month. We're happy that we were able to get the grants out to Class 6 Boutique. They're on Main Street. So we're excited within the next 9 to 12 months, you'll start to see some facade improvements there on Main Street. We also, Mayor Butler and I had the opportunity to be a featured speaker at the South Development Metro Outlook Conference, where we wowed everyone with the latest announcement that Fort Gillem in Forest Park is the largest, fastest growing rapid redevelopment of a decommissioned military base in the world, with over $1 billion worth of economic impact to this community. For our finance department, for the month of March, we were able to collect $329,000 of business licenses, as well as $8,375 for sanitation revenue. One of the things I want to point out, just to align this conversation with the presentation that Mr. Wiggins will do, we're excited that our finances are now caught up present day, meaning all of our books are reconciled up to the present month. And that is major because it allows us to never have another late audit, and it sets the standard in which that finance department operates. So again, to Mr. Wiggins' point, when you heard him articulate that this was one of the findings that the governing body had in its annual fiscal year audit, that finding has now been fixed. So for every budget that you will adopt, you'll also adopt these separate funds accounts for the finance department. So a big kudos to our finance department as we continue to grow. Mayor and Council, I'll stop the city manager's report there, and I'll email it out to each and every last one of you, as well as I'll have our press secretary email it out to the community at large.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And great job, Mr. Wiggins. Thank you. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5 presentation. So, yes, I am very serious. The first is a proclamation recognizing Georgia Cities Week, which is April 21st through April 27th. The second is a proclamation recognizing the city of Forest Park as a Purple Heart City. The third is a proclamation in recognition of our communication officers for Telecommunicators Week. Then we will have a proclamation recognizing Mr. Stephen Meiser as the official poet laureate. Mr. What did I say, Meiser? I always get it wrong. Okay, Mr. Stephen. And then we will have a presentation by the Forest Park Ministers Association, followed by their proclamation. So if everyone will come down front with me.
Let's do it, rock and roll.
No, there's no sickness for Georgia
You.
City. No, ma'am.
No, the clock?
Oh, pick somebody.
No, it's fine. Well,
No.
Yeah. That other guy, it worked for him, right?
So the first proclamation is as follows. Whereas across the state of Georgia, city governments are administered for and by their respective citizens and are dependent upon the public and understanding of their many responsibilities. And whereas,
No, how?
thank you. And whereas local municipal officials and employees share the responsibility of passing along their understanding of public service and its benefits to their constituents, to whom they have the most direct impact on. And whereas in its 25th year, Georgia Cities Week is an exciting time to recognize the important role played by city government and offers a significant opportunity to spread the word to Georgians across the state that they too can help shape, influence, and contribute to the success of the local branch of government. And whereas during Georgia Cities Week, city officials have the chance to share information, provide an inside look into city operations, and highlight successful community projects and neighborhood enhancements, with Forest Park hosting a food and wine crawl, coffee with the chiefs, and a special public safety pinning ceremony. Now therefore be it resolved, the City of Forest Park City Council hereby recognizes April 21st through April 27th, 2024 as Georgia Cities Week, and encourages all Forest Park residents, businesses, and families to join their governing body in celebrating what makes our community unique, special, and above all, beloved by so many.
Directors to come up.
Okay.
I love it too, Tom.
Come on, turn sideways. We all fade. Get in here. Squat. He's got it right there. Here we go. And put the zoom lens on. May have to get a shot in space. I hope we can get it.
All right, everybody. I don't know if we're doing a start or something.
I didn't even check to see if that one was the right one.
Wait, we got a few more.
I got it.
All right, so this proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the city of Forest Park has a long, proud history of supporting active military servicemen, servicewomen, veterans, and those who served our great nation. And whereas in 1941, Fort Gillem was established in Forest Park. You see, I'm trying to get away from the Fort Gillem was established in Forest Park, Georgia, as a satellite installation base to house various supply and support units, including the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division Crime Lab, a forensic laboratory located at the 250-acre Gillem Enclave, which remains open at this present day. And whereas the Purple Heart Medal is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created in 1782 as a badge of military merit by our nation's first president, George Washington. And whereas it is the mission of the military order of the Purple Heart to foster an environment of goodwill amongst combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget the cost of defending freedom, And whereas the city of Forest Park continues to pay tribute to the sacrifices made by Purple Heart recipients and firmly believe that it is important to acknowledge them for their courage, honor, and dedication to our country. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Forest Park City Council hereby proclaims the city of Forest Park to be a Purple Heart city with honors all those who courageously served and made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation's freedom. Well, Hector, you're the vet here. Oh, here. Oh.
Do we have any veterans that could take a picture with us? Come on, sir. Mr. Misha. Yeah, right here.
Oh, they're right there. Good looking folks on the front. I'll get in the middle. How about that?
Might as well stay up here, young man.
Nope. So this proclamation is as follows. Whereas the city of Forest Park recognizes the critical role that telecommunicators play in ensuring public safety and emergency response within our community. And whereas
Right here. Right here, in front.
And whereas National Telecommunicators Week is observed annually to honor the dedication, professionalism, and commitment of telecommunicators who serve as the vital link between citizens in need and emergency services. And whereas telecommunicators serve tirelessly, often behind the scenes, to provide crucial assistance and support to citizens and first responders during emergencies, medical crisis, natural disasters, and other critical situations. And whereas the City of Forest Park extends its deepest gratitude to telecommunicators for their unwavering service, compassion, and professionalism in safeguarding the lives and property of our residents. And whereas National Telecommunicators Week serves as an opportunity for our community to express appreciation for the invaluable contributions of telecommunicators and to raise awareness of the vital role they play in maintaining public safety. Now therefore be it resolved, the Forest Park City Council hereby recognizes April 14th through April 20th, 2024 as National Telecommunicators Week and urges Forest Park residents, businesses, and families to join their governing body in celebrating those who keep our community safe. Supervisor, Ms. Jennifer, so if you can accept this.
And I'll tell you, this is something you take for granted until you need it. And I was driving through Atlanta and I saw someone laying on the ground. I thought he wasn't with us no more, and I called and I got put on hold. And I've never had that here in Forest Park. I'm blessed with that, but other cities, 911 on hold is crazy for me. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Misher.
Okay. So this next proclamation is presented to Mr. Stephen Misher. Whereas Mr. Stephen L. Misher is a professional poet with a passion for poetry, who is also a scholar, family man, veteran, and most important, a man of faith. And whereas Mr. Misher is the author of 4 poetry books, as well as the founder of the Poetic Outreach